Okay, so I want to give you a little bit of an overview of the work environment. So, here you would have, you have, your toolbar, which in Tableau, surprisingly, you don't use as much as other toolbars. But the more important ones are here, your sidebar. In your sidebar, you have now the variables from your data set listed here. You have the data. Um, the next most important element is the sleeves, the cards and sleeves here. So these are the sleeves, rows and columns. This is where your data goes to make it, and these are your cards. So you can manipulate them. And then here is where your data results will be displayed. It's your view. Um, Here, show me gives you some suggestions on graphs. We'll talk about that later. I'll click that away to give us a little bit more space, here. Okay, so the easiest way is let's just make our first graph. I'll show you how this works. All right, so we haven't talked much about the data set, but it lists hospitals, gives each hospital a provider number, and lists the number of beds. Number of beds in the hospital is a measure for their size. So it would be nice to get a graph that shows all the hospitals with their number of beds. So now what you do is you take the variables that you want to have mapped and just drag them over to here. So I'll just do that now. I'll drag that here. Beds. Something is happening here, but don't worry about that. And now I'm gonna do the provider ID. That's unique for each hospital. And I'm gonna drag that here. Okay. So we now see the provider number, which is not very readable. So we'll work on that, and number of beds, and it shows us how many beds are in this hospital. So now we'll do a couple of steps to make this bar chart look a little bit nicer and more readable. But in principle, this is what it takes to make a bar chart. You just drag your two variables that you want to compare into the shelves here. And these guys are called pills. So you drag the pills into the shelves. And how do I know where to go, which direction? Actually, doesn't matter. It just changes the view. With this button here, I can change it, and it looks like this. And I can change it by hand as well. I can just drag it here and drag, and the intermediates result is like confusing. Don't worry about that. And it does it here. It does it very quickly. Okay, so now I want this graph to look, meaningful. So I want the names of the hospitals there as well. So now I can just say, hey, after the provider, I want the names listed. And boom, it does it. It kind of understands the context of the variables and Tableau does the right thing. All right, this is fantastic. And now I want to have it sorted by size, right? Like I want the biggest hospital on top. So I can do this in a variety of ways. I just highlighted one. I can click this button here. And this would be the sorting the other way from smallest. So from largest to smallest here. And I can also click here in the it's not showing up right now in this view. Sometimes you don't see it, but here, it's here. It moved down here. You can click here, as well. Now it's all gone. Now it's back up. So congratulations. You made your first bar chart, and we also, just gone through some additional, little complications of having a name associated with the provider ID and the beds. You may ask, why didn't I just put site name in the first place? And I can do that. I can actually remove provider and do the same thing. Here, a small note on what happened. It looks now different. Now we have VA hospital and we have number of beds 22,000. So this is a first sort of a kind of a data issue, problem, mystery, and we're not gonna solve it right now. I'll just wanted to give you the reasons why I couldn't just do this, which in most data sets I could do. But we'll put a pin into it. And so I can also undo things, and so I can go back to what I had before.